In the world buzzing with loud noises and flashing screens, let's journey somewhere different. Let's rediscover the magic of traditional storytelling through the simple joy of reading stories aloud. Welcome to the WorldStoryMind, where stories come alive in your mind. Our story takes place in medieval Russia in 10th century during the time of Keivan, a great kingdom that existed long before Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus became the countries that we know they are today. It was a land of powerful tsars, noble boyars, and fearless warriors who protected their cities from enemies and magical beasts alike. Now imagine this: towering wooden fortresses called Kremlins, shining golden domed churches, and bustling markets filled with merchants selling soft fur cloaks, warm honey cakes, and streaming cups of kvass, a special fermented drink. People traveled along wide rivers carrying goods like silver, furs, and embroidered shawls to trade to distant lands. And in the evenings, they would gather around crackling fireplaces, also called the hearths, telling stories of heroes, witches, and powerful enchanted creatures. So the land itself was vast and wild. Snow-covered plains in the winter, thick pine forests where wolves howled at night, and rivers that froze solid, turning into icy highways for travelers. Some of the greatest cities of this time were Kiev and Novgorod, where merchants and warriors lived side by side, sharing news, trading goods, and preparing for grand adventures. A land where mighty warriors rode in wooden carts pulled by sturdy horses, while blacksmiths hammered away in smoky forges, crafting shiny swords and strong shields. It was a land of heroes, magic, and grand adventure. And ruling over this great kingdom was Tsar Vaslav, a powerful ruler who always dressed in silk robes lined with softest fur, a golden crown glittering atop his head, and a treasure chest overflowing with jewels. But of all the riches in his kingdom, there was one thing, one treasure he cherished most of all. It was the magical apple tree. Not just any tree, but one that grew golden apples, round and as bright as the sun. Their sweet scent filled the air, and anyone who took even a smallest bite felt warmth, happiness, and pure joy in their heart. So everybody in his kingdom was practically happy. Isn't that amazing? But oh no, just like in all the stories, trouble was brewing. Every morning, Tsar Vaslav woke up. He woke up to find broken branches and missing apples. Someone or something was sneaking into the royal garden at night and stealing them. The Tsar was very furious. Dressed in his finest embroidered robe and heavy golden belt, Tsar Vaslav called for his 3 sons, Dmitri, Vasily, and Ivan. "My golden apples are being stolen," he thundered. "Whoever catches the thief will be my greatest hero." His 2 older sons, Dmitri and Vasily, puffed out their chests and promised to guard the tree and find out who is stealing the apple and find out who the thief is. On the first night, Dmitri wrapped himself in a thick wool cloak and sat beneath the tree. But the night was cold, the stars twinkled, and soon he dozed off. When he woke up in the morning, more apples were gone. On the second night, Vasily gave it a try. He gripped his sword tightly and sat under the tree. But the wind whispered soft lullabies and the moon glowed gently. And he too fell asleep. More apples were stolen. Then came the third night, and it was young Prince Ivan's turn. Unlike his brothers, Ivan was a bit clever and determined. So he took a nap before he went to guard the tree. He wrapped himself in a warm fur cloak, his sturdy leather boots crunching softly in the snow. At his side hung a sword with jeweled hilt, a special gift from his father. Ivan did not sleep. He kept his eyes wide open, listening to the sounds of the night. The stars twinkled above, the wind rustled through the bare trees, and then something magical happened. The air shimmered. The sky lit up and glowed, and suddenly, swoosh, a magnificent bird appeared. And not just any bird, it was the legendary Firebird. Its feathers blazed like fire, glowing in shades of gold, red, and dazzling blue. The Firebird lit up the entire garden as if it was daytime. Swoosh! Down it swooped, its sharp golden beak snapped up a golden apple. Aha! You're the thief, Keivan whispered. Quick as lightning, he lunged forward. But the Firebird was faster. It flapped its fiery wings and soared into the sky like a shooting star. All Keivan managed to catch was a single feather, still glowing warm in his hand. When he brought it to his father's attention in the great wooden hall, the Tsar gasped. The feather lit up the entire room with its golden glow. This is no ordinary bird, Sarvislav said, his eyes shining. I must have this. Bring me the Firebird itself. And so, this was the beginning of Prince Keivan's greatest quest. What dangers will he face? What magical creatures will he meet? Will he be able to capture the legendary Firebird? We have all these questions, so hang tight as we unfold the adventure. Before Prince Keivan could set up on his grand adventure, his father Sarvislav called upon the most mysterious fortune teller in the entire kingdom. She was an old woman known as Baba Veta, a wise seer who lived in the hidden hut deep within the ancient forests. Legends whispered that she could see beyond time itself, that stars spoke secrets to her that only she could understand. And on this night, she arrived at the palace, wrapped in a dark blue cloak embroidered with shimmery, glowing silver threads that shimmered like constellation in the night sky. As soon as Baba Veta stepped into the grand throne room, her eyes, her piercing grey eyes, locked onto Prince Keivan. She said nothing at all. She said nothing at first. Instead, she reached into her worn leather satchel and pulled out a crystal as clear as ice, swirling with mist inside. She placed it on the table, and something incredible happened. With a wave of her hand, the mist inside the crystal began to shift. Shapes formed before Keivan's eyes. First, a great golden tree, its branches heavy with shimmering apples. Then, the magnificent bird, its feathers blazing like fire, soaring across the snowy kingdom. Baba Vita's voice, as soft as rustling leaves and as deep as distant thunder, filled the hall. The Firebird you seek lies far, far beyond these lands, in the kingdom of Tsar Dolmat, she said. But beware, young prince, for your journey will test more than just your strength. It will also test your heart. Keivan leaned forward, eyes wide with curiosity, and asked, How do I find it? Baba Veta traced her fingers through the air, and the swirling mist changed again. This time, a shadowy figure appeared within the crystal's glow. Through forests thick with secrets, across rivers frozen in time, you will meet both friend and a foe, she warned. But remember this, true help comes not in power, but in kindness. The one who aids you will be the one you least expect. Keivan's brow furrowed. What could she mean? And when I find the Firebird? He asked. What must I do? Baba Veta's gaze darkened, her voice low and serious. Take only the bird, she warned, and leave the golden cage behind. It glows with greed, and greed will only lead to chains. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then, just as mysteriously as she had arrived, Baba Veta stood up, wrapped her cloak tightly around herself, and turned towards the shadows. The path is set, Prince Keivan. Go swiftly, and may the fate guide your steps. And with that, she vanished. That very night, with Baba Veta's words echoing in his mind, Prince Keivan mounted his strongest horse, the wind howling around him, and rode into the great unknown. His journey to find the Firebird had begun. Prince Ivan's adventure had truly finally begun. He rode for days, traveling through dark, misty forests where the trees were whispering secrets to the wind. And the nights were so cold that his breath turned into frost in the air, and the wind howled through the towering pine trees like a ghostly song. But Ivan did not stop. He had a mission. He had a mission to find the Firebird. One evening, as the sun sank behind the hills, Ivan stopped near a frozen stream to rest his horse. But just as he was about to set up camp, roar! A deep, furious growl echoed through the forest, shaking the trees. Then, a desperate yell. Ivan's heart pounded. Someone or something was in trouble. He grabbed his sword and raced towards the sound, his boots sinking deep into the snow. When he burst into the clearing, he gasped at what he saw. A massive bear, its shaggy fur covered in frost, its claws as sharp as daggers, was towering over a small, wounded, cute little silver fox. The poor fox had been cornered against a fallen tree, and its front paw was injured, leaving it unable to run. The bear swiped its massive claws. The fox let out a pained cry. Without a thought, without thinking at all, Ivan leaped between them, raising his sword. "Bad beast!" he shouted. The bear growled and swung a mighty paw at him. Whoosh! Ivan barely dodged in time, rolling through the snow. He scrambled to his feet as the beast lunged again. Clang! Ivan struck with all his mighty strength. Though his blade could not cut through the bear's thick fur, it was enough to drive the creature back. The bear snarled, its dark eyes gleaming with fury. Then, with one last huff, it turned and vanished into the trees. Panting, Ivan turned to the injured fox. The small creature lay shivering in the snow, its beautiful silver fur streaked with blood. "You're hurt, little one," Ivan said gently. He knelt beside the fox and tore a strip of cloth from his own warm cloak. Carefully, he wrapped it around the fox's injured paw. The creature trembled, but did not resist. Instead of leaving the fox behind, Ivan lifted it into his arms, cradling it carefully as he carried it to safety. For days, Ivan cared for the wounded fox, keeping it warm and tending to its wounds. Slowly, the fox grew stronger, its bright silver eyes full of life once more. And then, one night, beneath the glow of the full moon, something magical happened. As Ivan sat beside the fire, the fox gazed at him with knowing eyes. Then, in a deep, wise voice, it spoke. "You've passed the test, Prince Ivan." Ivan's eyes widened, in shock, just like mine. "The test, a test," he said. Fox nodded, its silver fur shimmering in the moonlight. "I've seen many travelers walk these roads," the fox said. "And when danger comes, most turn away, but not you. You fought for the one who could not fight for himself. You did not abandon me, even when I was weak. You proved yourself worthy of my help." The air around the fox began to glow. His small little body stretched and grew, his fur shimmering like liquid silver. His legs lengthened, his bushy tail swirled like a mist, and then, poof! Standing right there before Ivan was no ordinary fox, but a magnificent, towering creature with a flowing tail. His silver eyes shone like twin moons. Ivan took a step back, completely awestruck. "Long ago," the fox said, his voice deep and powerful, "your grandfather spared my life when I was but a helpless cub. Now, just as your family once saved me, so did you. So I pledge my loyalty to you." The great fox lowered himself, his massive, majestic form gleaming under the moon. "You seek the Firebird?" he continued. "I will take you there, but listen well. When you find the Firebird, take only the bird and leave the golden cage behind. The cage glows with greed, and greed leads only to chain. These were the same words that had come from the fortune teller. But the question is, will Ivan listen? Nonetheless, Ivan nodded firmly, promising to obey. He climbed onto the back of the great silver fox, gripping its soft fur, and then, whoosh! Faster than the northern wind, the fox leaped into the night, glowing tail streaking across the sky like a silver comet. They raced over the frozen rivers, past snow-covered hills, soaring through the winter night like a shooting star. So at last, as the dawn painted the sky gold and pink, they reached their destination. It was a grand fortress, its towering stone walls standing strong against the icy winds. The golden rooftops gleamed under the rising sun, glowing like a treasure nonetheless. Inside that fortress, locked away in a stable of carved oak and iron, was that legendary Firebird. Inside this massive stable, surrounded by guards in fur-lined cloaks, there was the Firebird. Its glowing feathers lit up the entire dark stable, shimmering with golden, red, and blue flames. It sat inside a dazzling golden cage, its beak tucked beneath its wings. Ivan's heart pounded. He remembered the wolf's warning, but the cage was so splendid, so golden, so beautiful. Surely the Firebirds belong in such a beautiful cage, Ivan thought. He reached out. His fingers brushed the golden bars and clang, clang, clang. Bells rang out. The stable's doors burst open. Guards stormed in with swords drawn. Before Ivan could even react, they seized him. Soon after, Prince Ivan was dragged before Tsar Dolmat, a stern-looking king with long beard decorated with tiny golden rings. The Tsar's sharp eyes narrowed as he studied the young prince. "So," he growled, "you tried to steal my Firebird." Then, with a cruel smile, the Tsar leaned forward. "Well, I have a task for you. If you want the Firebird, bring me the golden-maned horse from the stables of my sworn enemy, Tsar Afron. If you're able to capture the horse, you can keep both the Firebird and the horse, as without the horse, Afron would be weak, and I will take over his kingdom. And you will have me as your ally for life." And so, Prince Ivan's adventure was far from over. Beyond the gates, to the kingdom of Tsar Afron, another quest awaits. Prince Ivan sighed as the silver fox shook its head. "I warned you, Prince Ivan," the fox said, "but I'm with you. I'm loyal. I'm loyal to you." Together, they raced across frozen rivers, leaped over whispering hills, and traveled through snowy valleys beneath the sky full of stars. And then deep in a birch forest, Ivan spotted something unusual. A two-headed eagle caught in thorny vines, struggling to break free. "Help me, kind prince," it cried. "Set me free, and I will give you the speed of storm winds." Without hesitation, Ivan cut the vines with his dagger, and whoosh, the eagle spread its mighty wings, sending a powerful gust through the trees. "You have freed me, Prince Ivan." "You have freed me, Prince Ivan," the eagle declared. "Now you shall be as fast as the wind." With the newfound speed, Ivan and Silver Fox dashed across the land, faster than ever. At last, they reached Tsar Afron's grand palace. But before entering the royal stables, the Silver Fox warned Ivan again. "Take only the golden-maned horse. Leave the golden bridle behind." But inside, Ivan's breath caught. The golden-maned horse was magnificent, its shimmering mane glowing like sunlight. Then something sparkled on the wall. The golden bridle. Ivan hesitated. Surely a horse this fine deserves a bridle just as beautiful. The moment he reached for it, crack, a thunderous sound shook the stable. Slam, the doors crashed shut. Guards stormed in, swords drawn. Seize him, they roared. Dragged before Tsar Afron, Ivan faced the powerful ruler. You dare try to steal my golden-maned horse? The Tsar asked, his voice cold. Then a sly smile crossed his face. You may have the horse if you first bring me Princess Elena from the kingdom beyond the seas. If you're able to steal the princess, you can have both the princess and the horse, and you will have me as your ally forever. Now Tsar's true plan was to weaken the sea star by stealing his daughter, so he could claim the sea kingdom for himself. And so Prince Ivan's journey was far from over. Across the seas to find Princess Elena and deeper into the heart of destiny itself. Another quest awaits. Now the Silver Fox and Prince Ivan reached the stormy shore, where waves crashed and winds howled. As they walked, a desperate voice broke through the mist. It was a trapped serpent. Caught in the fisherman's net was a gigantic sea serpent. Its emerald scales shimmered like jewels. Its golden eyes burned with wisdom. Help me, brave prince, the serpent pleaded. Free me, and I shall carry you across the endless sea and get you to your destination. Without any hesitation, Ivan cut the ropes. Whoosh! The serpent rose into the air, twisting like a ribbon in the wind. Climb on, it boomed. It was a ride like no other. The moment Ivan gripped its scales, they dived into the sea. Water sprayed, and the wind roared, and the stars blurred into the silver streaks. Then land appeared, and there they were, at their destination, the palace of Princess Elena. The ivory towers gleamed, and in the high balcony stood Princess Elena, the fair. Her golden hair flowed like sunlight. Her blue eyes shone like the sky. Her embroidered gown sparkled in the light. It was a fateful meeting. Ivan's heart pounded. How can I take her without harm? He wondered. Then the silver fox gave his wisdom. Touch her hand gently, the fox whispered, and she will follow. Ivan reached out. Their eyes met. In his gaze, Elena saw kindness, courage, and fate. Smiling, she took his hand. But as she stepped forward, the sky darkened. Lightning flashed. A booming voice echoed. It was the sorcerer king of the sea. He appeared. His robes billowed like storm clouds. His silver staff crackled with power. His piercing gaze locked onto Ivan. You dare try to take the princess? He roared. If you want to take her, you must face the trial of the three flame. A very dangerous test. Soon after, 3 fire-lit portals appeared. One for strength, one for wit, and one for heart. Fail even once. His voice darkened. And you shall never, ever leave these walls. That was a final warning from the sorcerer. The silver fox growled, stepping protectively beside Ivan. Be careful, my prince, he warned. This sorcerer is no fool. Each challenge will be designed to break you. Of course, at this point, he was not backing up. Ivan glanced at Elena, who watched him with wide and worried eyes. Then, taking a deep breath, he stepped forward. The first trial awaited. Prince Ivan turned and faced the 3 flaming portals, their eerie glow casting shadows across the stone floor. The Sorcerer King smirked. Enter, if you dare. It was the first trial, which was of strength. Ivan stepped into the fire and whoosh, found himself in a vast battle-scarred arena. A monstrous iron guardian emerged, its molten eyes burning. "You must defeat me," it boomed, raising a sword as tall as the tree. So the fight begins. Crack! The ground split as Ivan dodged a crushing blow. The silver fox sprang forward, snapping at Guardian's legs, but its steel body did not yield. Brute force wouldn't work, Ivan thought to himself. He needed strategy. Ivan spotted a glowing blue core on the Guardian's chest. With lightning speed, Ivan dodged another crushing strike, then leapt onto the Guardian's massive arm, using its armor as footholds. With one powerful thrust, he drove his sword deep into the glowing core. The Guardian crumbled to dust. First trial was won. The second trial was Trial of Wit. Ivan entered a hall of endless doors. The Sorcerer's King's voice echoed. One leads to freedom, and the rest to eternal imprisonment. At the hall's center stood a golden pedestal, a single candle burning upon it. Ivan frowned. There has to be some clue. Then he noticed something. The candle's flame flickered ever so slightly towards one door. "The wind," Ivan murmured. "It must be coming from the way out." He turned the handle. The hall vanished. Second trial was passed. Then came the third trial, the heart. In the final chamber, Ivan found himself facing his most difficult choice yet. Before him stretched a massive chasm, a dark hole that was long and endless. Ivan was standing on the bridge. One side stood Elena, and the other side, a caged silver nightingale singing a song of sorrow. The Sorcerer King appeared, this time as a frail old man. "Choose, Prince Ivan," he rasped. "Save Elena or free the bird, who has been cursed for hundreds of years. But beware, freeing it will make the bridge vanish forever." The bridge to Elena will be vanished forever. Ivan's heart pounded. Elena was his destiny, but the nightingale's mournful eyes told another story, one of centuries of suffering. Taking a deep breath, he cut the cage open. Whoosh! The nightingale soared free, its song breaking the curse. The Sorcerer King gasped, his disguise fading. "You have chosen well," he whispered. "Only a pure heart could break the spell." With a final breath, he too vanished. The chasm, the big hole, sealed itself. Elena ran to Ivan, eyes shining. "You risked everything for a small creature." Ivan smiled. Kindness is the true strength. Hand in hand, they stepped through the last portal. But though one journey ended, a new one awaited. With Princess Elena, the golden-maned horse, and the Firebird by his side, Prince Ivan rode home through dark forests and rushing rivers. His heart was light. His quests were over, and the victory was his. But fate had one final test in store for him. Edge of a misty woodland, the silver fox slowed to a stop, its glowing eyes meeting Ivan's. "My duty is done, brave prince," it murmured. "But beware, envy is dangerous foe." Before Ivan could speak, the fox faded into the fog like a dream. That night, under a starless sky, Ivan made camp by a quiet river, the moonlight dancing on the water's surface. But in the shadows, jealousy stirred. His brothers, Dmitri and Vasily, crept forward, eyes burning with greed. "Why should Ivan have all the glory?" Dmitri hissed. "The Firebird, the horse, and the princess should be ours," Vasily growled. Then, before Ivan could react, a flash of steel, a strike of treachery. Pain exploded through him. The world spun. Darkness swallowed everything. Ivan lay motionless, as his brothers laughed cruelly. The Firebird, the golden-maned horse, Princess Elena took it all. Vasily seized the reins, while Dmitri grabbed Elena's arm. She struggled, her eyes flashing with fury. "You are cowards," she spat. "Ivan is worth 100 of you." But her words fell on deaf ears. The traitors rode away, leaving Ivan behind, cold and still, underneath the endless sky. For a long time, all was silent. Then, the river began to glow. The water shimmered like liquid moonlight swirling in a luminous dance. From the depths, a figure rose, a water spirit, her form gleaming like ice beneath the stars. She knelt beside Ivan, her voice as soft as rippling waves. "You saved the eagle, you freed the serpent, you helped the fox," she whispered. "Now, it's our turn to save you." She lifted a crystal vial and poured the living water over Ivan's still body. A miracle happened. Light surged through his veins, warmth returned, strength was restored. With a deep, gasping breath, Prince Ivan's eyes flew open. Ivan sat up, his chest rising and falling. He was alive once more. The water spirit smiled, her eyes twinkling. "Kindness always finds its way back," she murmured. And with that, she vanished into the river's silver waves. His heart still pounding. His journey was not over. He realized his brothers had betrayed him. His princess had been stolen. Now he would set things straight. The final chapter of his adventure was about to begin. Like a storm wind, Prince Ivan raced towards his father's palace, his heart burning with determination. In the distance, banners fluttered, music played, and guests gathered. His brothers were forcing Elena into marriage. But the moment she saw him, all else vanished. "Ivan!" she cried, her eyes shining with joy. Without hesitation, she ran to him, straight into his arm. The crowd gasped. The palace felt silent. Seeing their brother alive and strong, Dmitri and Vasily trembled. Their lies were laid bare and their treachery met its punishment. Then Sarvislav stepped forward. When he saw the magnificent Firebird, its golden feathers glowing like captured sunlight, his eyes filled with wonder. "My son," the Tsar declared, "you have done the impossible. You are the bravest of all. From this day forth, you shall be my rightful heir." And so, with the golden-maned horse as his steed and Princess Elena as his queen, Prince Ivan ruled wisely and well. As for the silver fox, some say it still roams the deep pine forests, its glowing eyes watching and waiting for the next worthy traveler in need of its help. With that, we are at the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. So das vidaniya, which means goodbye in Russian. An extended version of this story will be available in a book form. Stay tuned, the details are in the description. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a video.